Hello, sisters, Baptist women, and everyone who's taking a few minutes to watch this. We are in the thick of the Christmas season at this time. And in the midst of all the activity and festivity, I often find myself feeling quite adrift from the crux of it all. So much of what happens this time of year seems so far removed from those events in ancient Palestine all those years ago. So I want to take a few minutes here to remember. I'm going to read something to you that I wrote a few years ago to help us remember together. It was many years ago now, during the time that my children were still small, that I found myself in a cold, dark, smelly horse stable late in the afternoon on Christmas Eve. I had worked out an arrangement with the stable manager to muck stalls in exchange for the board fee for our daughter's pony. Now, I knew that the round of activities over the next few days would prevent me from making it back anytime soon. So there I was. It was very cold that year, and I had to work hard to maintain my body heat. The pungent odor of horse manure actually stung my eyes and saturated every fiber of my clothing and every single strand of hair. My thoughts drifted as I worked, and soon I found myself feeling sorry for myself. I contrasted my gloomy surroundings with the bright festivities that I suspected the rest of the world was preparing for. I struggled to balance my overloaded wheelbarrow, and I muttered to myself, "This is not where I should be spending Christmas Eve." Then words dropped into my thoughts with unusual clarity. "But in a place like this is where it all began." These words brought me up short. In mid-stride, I set my wheelbarrow down and slowly straightened my burning, aching spine. I looked around the dim interior of the barn, letting those words replay over and over. Dust coated every surface. Cobwebs hung thick between rafters. Bits of dung and dirty straw lay scattered across the damp, cold floor. Feed sacks, buckets, old brooms, discarded twine, and broken tack were left lying around. The horses in their stalls were only interested in their hay, and my only audience was a row of chickadees huddled together on a beam overhead. To this Christ chose to come, to be Messiah, Emmanuel, God with us, God with me, right there in the muck and manure. Not a lot of fanfare, announcements of his arrival made only to the humblest of individuals, shepherds watching over their dumb animals, as stinky and smelly as I was. Suddenly, all my ideas of Christmas celebrations seemed trivial. The decorations, the baking, the feasts, the shopping, parties, cards, and gifts, those were the things that I had allowed to clutter my life and distract me from the crux of it all. I went home to my family that evening, humbled, grateful, and full of joy at the same time, stinky as I was. I hadn't missed out on anything important while mucking stalls on Christmas Eve. I had been reminded that I had already received the greatest gift ever given. So wherever you are and whatever has unfolded for you in 2021, whatever this holiday season experience is like for you, may this truth rest deeply in your heart this Christmas season, that to us a child is born, to us a son is given. His name is Jesus, born in the most humble estate, that we might know with certainty that God will go to whatever length it takes to restore us to himself. The songs of the angels filled the sky that night in joy and praise of the great news that is for all people, today as much as it was then. For Jesus is called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. I pray you have a wonderful, worshipful Christmas. God bless.